I would like to ask that we stand and take a moment of silence and keep the family of late Representative Ivan Jglfr and his family and all of those who have lost family members recently in our prayers.
When you call it to order, just turn that on the tape. When you call it to order.
Right button.
This line, yeah.
Again, I am Senator Carl R. King Neighbors from the Second Senatorial District. I would now like to call this Jglfr meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, July 28th, 2021. The time is 9:40 in the a.m. here in the Honorable Sus P. Martinez Memorial Building in Capitol Hill, Side. I would like to introduce the members of my committee. To my far right, the Vice President of the Senate, Senator Jglfr from the 3rd Senatorial District. To my immediate right, Senator Vinny Saban, the floor of the Senate and Vice Chairman of this committee. And again, I am Senator Carl R. King Neighbors from the 2nd Senatorial District. I'd now like to recognize the legislative assistant to call the
Senator Francisco P. Cruz, Senator Victor Jglfr, Senator Carl R. King Neighbors, Senator Justo Jglfr, Senator Vinny F. Saban.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, 3 members are present, 2 members are absent.
Thank you. With 3 members present, we have the requisite number to we have quorum for this meeting. Please let the record reflect that Senator Jglfr and Senator Cruz are hereby excused from today's proceedings. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our Legislative Bureau staff, our legal counsel, Ms. Antonetta Loomis, Legislative Assistant, Senior Legislative Assistant, Ms. Jolyn Salazar, and Legislative Assistant, Tara Blanco, and Sergeant at Arms, Mr. John Santos, and Sergeant at Arms, Benjamin Tavahi. With that, I would like to move on to item 3 of the agenda. We'll hear a motion to adopt today's agenda.
Motion to adopt today's agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We have a motion to adopt, and it has been seconded. Any discussion?
Under discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Recognize Senator.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer a motion to amend today's agenda, and if the members and the staff can refer to item number 6 under new business, number 1, I believe Senate Bill number 22-29, HD1 has been passed already in our Senate session. Jolene, is that accurate? And that is my legislation called Senate Bill number 22-29 HD1. I'm not sure if that's was it passed in? Just for clarification, I wanted to know that there was something we acted on it. And it's, short recess.
Short recess.
Recess, Mr. Chairman. I offered a motion to amend today's agenda, and under item 6, number 1 in the new business, I believe clarified by our LA, Senate Bill number 22-29 HD1 was passed already. We passed in session, so I'd like to move that we amend today's agenda to remove number 1 from new business. So
Do I hear a second? A motion has been offered to remove Senate Bill number 2229 in the form of HD1 from today's agenda from new business. All in favor?
aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. I'll recognize Senator Saban.
So back to the main motion for the adoption of today's agenda. I'd like to offer a motion to adopt today's agenda as amended. So,
Motion has been offered to adopt today's agenda, as a, as amended. Do I hear a second? And has been seconded. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Agenda has been adopted for today. On to section 5 of today's agenda, public comments. We are now open for public comments as it appears that no one is in the gallery. I'll go ahead and move on from this, and public comments are now closed. On to old business. The chair would like to move on from the old business and go directly to new business under item 12. House Bill number 2212 to amend 4 CMC to authorize Secretary of Commerce to establish and promulgate reasonable registration and permitting fees through adoption of regulation for other purposes. We're not open for discussion. Authored by the late Representative Ivan Blanco.
thank you, Chairman. Under discussion, there are some comments provided by the Department of Finance, and it seems that they are in support of the said legislation for the Department of Commerce to adopt regulations under the legislation. So at this moment, I have no comments, but just wanted to point out that we did have a comment from the Secretary of Finance.
Senator Kilowatt? No, at this time? Okay, if there is no one opposing this said legislation, do I hear a motion? I recognize Senator Saban.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And at this moment, I'd like to offer a motion that we adopt House Bill number 22-12 to amend 4 CMC subsection 51420B to authorize the Secretary of Commerce to establish and promulgate reasonable registration and permitting fees through the adopted regulations and for other purposes. Again, the motion is to adopt House Bill number 22-12 in committee. So move.
All right. Motion has been offered to adopt this House Bill 2212 in committee and has been seconded. Can we take roll for this? Recognize the legislators.
Senator Francisco P. Cruz.
Oh.
Sorry. Senator Justo Esquerra. Senator Vinias Saban.
Yes.
Senator Carl Arquin.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, all 3 voted yes.
All right. With all 3 members voting yes, House Bill number 22-12 hereby passes in original form. Hereby is adopted in original form. I would now like to go back to old business. Item 5 on today's agenda. Starting off with Senate Bill 2206. This is now open for discussion. For the committee's information, we had reached out to the dealerships on island, and it was imperative that we get comments from them. They have yet to provide any information. So if at all possible, I would like to hold on to this legislation until we get comments from the dealerships. No objections? On to House Bill, Senate Bill number 2211. This bill I would also request that we hold on to as we further deliberate and solicit comments from the Department of Finance. Recognize Senator Lynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And in reference to this legislation, Senate Bill number 22-11, I do understand that the Secretary of Finance does do some reporting on all as it refers impact and compact funds that the CNMI receives. So I think it's in order that we solicit comments from the Secretary of Finance to confirm that structure.
Any objections? So Senate Bill 22-11 will be held for discussion. On to number 3 on agenda on the old business. Senate Bill 22-11 to establish mandatory presentation of valid identification, photo identification for any debit card or credit card transactions and any check cash exchange purchases for all business establishments in the Commonwealth. I do know that we had made amendments to this. I had provided some, I had asked that there be one amendment made specifically in regards to section 102, the mandatory identification check. I had asked council to strike out signed and I notarized just to make sure that the letter authorizing the usage of the card by the original owner was authenticated. Any further discussion regarding this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And with that, I know the legal counsel had emailed us the amendments as per your request. So I'm ready for action, Mr. Chairman.
So do I hear a motion to reorganize this month?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I offer a motion to adopt in committee Senate Bill number 22-17 with the amendments made. So,
All right, there's been a motion to adopt Senate Bill 22-17 in the form of SD1. Do I hear a second?
Second.
It has been seconded. Can we take roll? I may ask the clerk to take roll.
Senator Jglfr,
Okay.
Senator Sablan,
yes.
Senator King Neighbors.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, all 3 voted yes.
Thank you. With all 3 members voting yes, Senate Bill 22-17 in the form of SD1 is hereby adopted in committee. On to number 4, SR Senate Resolution number 22-02. I know this was on the discussion the last committee, and in speaking with one of the authors, this Senate resolution is moot at this point. So if there is no opposition or discussion, I would like to recognize the leaders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And at this moment, I'd like to offer a motion to file Senate Resolution number 22-2. So,
Second.
A motion has been offered to file Senate Resolution 22-2 and it has been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
All opposed? Senate Resolution 22-02 is hereby filed. For number 5 on the agenda, under old business, Senate Bill 22-27. I'm still seeking some comments. The committee is still soliciting comments from the appropriate agencies and would like to, if there's no discussion or opposition, I would like to hold this for discussion.
No objection.
Recognize Senator Kimball.
Mr. Chairman, this legislation has been. Mr. Chairman, this legislation has been introduced, I think, even during the 15th legislature in the House, and then subsequent legislatures, and I think one time it was vetoed. So I suggest that probably if the legal counsel can go back to the history and see if the comments from the governor why a similar legislation was vetoed. And maybe we can take into consideration the recommendations of when the government vetoed a similar legislation.
Okay, so we'll ask legal counsel and to please look into the history of this legislation, and we can discuss the findings on our next committee meeting. If there's no objection.
No.
Okay. We're gonna, if there's no issues for number 6 on old business, Senate Bill 2228, I would like to hold further discussion, if there's no objection. So moving on to number 7, Senate Bill 2230, I now recognize Senator Small.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In reference to the legislation authored by myself, I did consult with our legal counsel, Bill Gomez, yesterday upon review of our agenda, and it seems that under the AG's comments, the AG states that the imposition of restrictions on persons who wish to perform tour guide services raises free speech infringement issues. So at this time, I'd like to ask the legal counsel, as she to just articulate some of her her research into some cases that have been brought forth to the courts in other jurisdictions. So if there's no objection, Mr. Chairman, could you give the legal counsel the floor to articulate the
No, no objections, and I'd like to recognize legal counsel and Senator Bill Gomez.
Yes, after reading the AG's comment, what do you call that, I did some research and, I did find some cases. I looked at the case that was cited, and that was a Washington DC case. I did more research and found North Carolina and Georgia cases where courts actually struck down local ordinances that require tour guides to be licensed or to take a test from the local government in order to be able to be a tour guide. But I want to note that the Supreme Court rejected or did not take one of the cases. They declined to hear the case. So technically, it's the appellate court and district court that actually rejected the ordinances, but the Supreme Court hasn't made a final decision on the issue. But I think to err on the side of caution, it would be best not to obtain the bill at this point, because our own AG is recommending that we don't.
Thank you. Thank you. Senator Jacob, do you have no comments? I would now like to recognize Senator Small.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, legal counsel. So with that said, and also following on the comments by our AG, which does also state some case law in his comments, in addition to the research that our legal counsel, Bill Gomez, performed. I'd like to offer a motion that we file Senate Bill number 22-30. So.
All right, a motion has been offered to file Senate Bill 22-30 and has been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Senate Bill 2230 is hereby filed. Moving on to number 8, Senate Bill 2233. This again is to amend 6 CMC subsection 1306B to increase statutory fines, and 6 CMC subsection 4102D to increase minimum mandatory penalties for sexual assault and sexual abuse of children in the first degree and for other purposes. My apologies, Senate Bill 2232. If there is no issues, I am currently coordinating with the AG's office, again, the office, the Public Defender's Office, as well as the Bar Association, to set up a meeting with the JGL committee to discuss the ramifications of this legislation. If there are no objections, I would like to hold this for further discussion. Moving on to number 9, Senate Legislative Initiative number 2202 to propose constitutional amendment to Article 5, Section 4 of the NMI Constitution to require the resident representative to the United States to provide a report to the legislature in joint session, authored by Mr. Critical. For the committee and for the record, I would like to state that during the Senate session, our previous Senate session, it was asked that we solicit comments from Mr. Representative Khalid Sablan. His office, he did reach out to me directly, and on the phone call, he made it clear that he does support the process and whatever comes of it. So that would be his official comment. I would like to ask that this be reflected in the committee report and that the committee report be amended to reflect as such. With that, recognize Senator, no objections? Recognize Senator Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And at this moment, I'd like to offer a motion to adopt Senate Legislative Initiative number 22-02 with the addition, with the amendments as per your statements. So
Do I hear a second?
A second.
All right, a motion has been offered to adopt SLI number 2202 with amendments. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Senate Legislative Initiative 2202 hereby passes with amendments. Is adopted. Recognize Senator Jglfr.
Did we have this from the last session, actually? Really, right? So what we're doing is just amending the committee report.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. If there be no objections, on to number 10, Senate Bill 2235. I've reached out to the author, Ms. Senator Edith Jglfr. There was a request put in to see if some of the issues that were brought up with the AG's office were covered by non-FDIC banks. I would ask the legal counsel if they could look into this possibility, if that amendment could be made to this legislation, and or what can come out of it. But I would like to hold this for further discussion. With that being said, no objections. On to Senate Bill 2237 to amend Chapter 4, Division 6 of Title 6 of the Commonwealth Code related to bail proceedings. We are not open for discussions. I would like to start by saying that with regard to, I wanted to make some amendments to the legislation on the floor. I would like to offer to change line 2, page 2, line 18 and 19 currently reads, no person shall be released on bail after arrest for violation of condition of probation. The amendment I would like to propose is that this be changed to no person shall be released on bail from a warrant issued pursuant to a motion to revoke probation in an alleged violation if the commission of a new offense punishable by confinement of more than 180 days or involves family violence. The court may otherwise deny or release bail from a warrant issued pursuant to a motion to revoke if the alleged violation or violations support a concern or ongoing threat to the public. I would like to email this to the committee members, and if there are no objections, this changes be made to this legislation.
no objection.
Recognize Senator Jglfr.
Mr. Chairman, can you email us the amendments once it's included here?
Yes.
Mhm.
Perfect. And then if I could, yeah, and then we'll add to it. I'll just add council to just identify on the legislation what has been changed. There's no objections? Yeah, and if at all possible. And recognize Senator Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And now I'd like to offer a motion to adopt Senate Bill number 22-37 with the amendments requested by the author to amend Chapter 4, Division 6 of Title 6 of the Commonwealth Code relating to bail proceedings. And as requested by the vice, that the amendments be emailed to the members, inclusive of what's on the Senate bill. So move.
Do I hear a second? All right, motion has been offered to adopt Senate Bill 2237 with the amendments. And after the council has made the requisite amendments, that will be emailed out to all the committee members. If there are no objections, then we will proceed with passage. All in favor of passage of Senate, the 2237 and with amendments, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Senate Bill 2237 passes in committee, is adopted in committee. At this point, I'd like to take a short recess. Back to order. Next on the agenda, number 12, old business, Senate Bill 2238 to amend crimes and criminal procedure code definitions of dangerous weapon and serious bodily injury. With this, I also would like to make two small amendments. On page 2, line 6, after the word modified, I would like to add adapted. And on the same page, line 14, the word serious is stricken off. I would like to keep that in the legislation. Again, I can make the requisite amendment changes and I'll forward them to council. If anyone has any issues with the amendments, then, and if there's no objections, then proceed forward. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Recognize Senator Kiddo.
wondering of the public defenders comments, whether we need to make some clarifications in some of the languages on the bill. I would like to ask the council to go through this and see because it's pointing out things that we might have to have serious considerations with.
I don't have any issues with that, Senator Dickey. The one thing I will say is part of the vetting process of basically some of these language when I added serious was kind of address some of that issue, but I have no issue with the council reviewing the comments provided by the Public Defender's Office and incorporate some of the suggestions into possible amendments. If there's no issues from the members.
If the council finds it necessary to get amendments, if you can email us,
Okay.
so we can look at it and see if there's no further comments to adopt the legislation.
Oh, with the amendments provided today. All right, yeah, so we can work it and ask the legal counsel to please look over the comments and if there are necessary changes that are necessary, then please email the committee members so that we can review them and if need be incorporated into Senate Bill 2238. So with that, we'll hold this for further discussion for our next session. If there are no objections.
39.
This is 39. This is to amend the criminal crimes and criminal procedure code definitions of dangerous weapon and serious bodily injury. 38. 38. My apologies. Thank you for the instruction.
Mr. Chairman,
I recognize Senator Jglfr.
Perhaps we do not have to bring this back at the next, just, council can just email us whatever changes, she said this thing, including the changes. Perhaps we can proceed with the adoption of the report and the bill as amended.
So with that, do I recognize Senator Sabah?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And with that, I'd like to offer a motion to adopt Senate Bill number 22-38 to amend the Crimes and Criminal Procedure Code definitions of dangerous weapons and serious bodily injury. The motion is to adopt the Senate bill with the amendments to be emailed to the members to reflect on the committee report. So moved.
Motion has been offered and seconded. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Senate Bill 2238 hereby passes with amendments. So with the caveat that legal counsel will send out the amendments, and once the committee agrees, if there's no objections, then it will be adopted. On to number 13, Senate Bill 2239. Recognize Senator Benicio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In reference to Senate Bill number 22-39, which I authored, I know this was discussed during our meeting with the Attorney General. One of the list of issues and concerns that prompted this legislation. We did discuss the legislation this morning with the chairman, but Mr. Chairman, if there's no objection, I thought we had some comments from the AG, but I just realized that we don't have those written comments, and I'd like that the AG provides the written comments that were articulated during the meeting that we had, so that it is attached to this legislation. So if there's no objection, I'd like to hold off on this and get the AG's written comments to be attached. If there is none, we will give we will request for the comments one more time. And if there are no comments, then we can move ahead in the next committee meeting.
Noted. Senator Jglfr. No objections? Okay, so Senate Bill 2239 will be held for further discussions in our next meeting. Item number 14, Senate Legislative Initiative 2208. We're currently in the process of doing public hearings on this. First public hearing was done on ROTA last 2 weeks. We have yet to do TIN and Saipan. If there's no issue, I would like to hold off on this until the public hearings on all 3 items are concluded. No objections? Next on the agenda, number 15, Senate Bill 2243 to amend 777 CMC subsection 2202 to change tort liability of the government, its employees or agents, and for other purposes. Open for discussion. Recognize Senator Sabah.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should also request for AG comments on this legislation. We can include that with the request for the Senate Bill number 22-39. I know they both relate to tort claims and liability. So if we can hold off and hopefully get some written comments from the AG on both set legislations.
Noted. To date, regarding Senate Bill 2243, only the Rhode Municipal Council has submitted the required solicitations or has provided their comments regarding this legislation. Recognize Senator Sabah.
And with that, if I can request the legislative assistants to request for those comments to the Attorney General's office. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
So noted. With that, we're on to Senate number 16 on the agenda, Senate Bill 22 44, to authorize the Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety to work with private business owners to install surveillance technology towards public right-of-way in support of this unionized reporting system and for other purposes. We are open for discussion. Recognize Senator Sabah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Senate, the 21st Senate, passed this in session. I'm trying to think if it's the same same version. I have no objection to move forward with this legislation, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I also don't have any issue after reviewing the legislation. Basically, it just provides the Department of Public Safety to grants them the opportunity to formulate a memorandum of understanding with private businesses, and that they can work out the fees and also provide the camera feeds in the event that times are needed. So. Yes, recognize the council.
Just to find out that the committee had a recommendation for a minor amendment to strike out the word business under section 102.
Did they have it?
Yeah.
Section 102? What was that one more time, Council? Strike out business?
Business under section 102.
Yeah, I don't know.
What line is that? 5? Short recess.
Shall recess?
At this moment, I'd like to offer a motion to adopt Senate Bill number 22-44 with the amendments that satisfies the AG's comments, and that would the motion would be to adopt Senate Bill number 22-44 in the form of SD1. So
A motion has been offered. Do I hear a second? And it has been seconded. All in favor to adopt Senate Bill 2244 with the amendments to accommodate the recommendations provided by the AG. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Senate Bill 2244 hereby is adopted. On to number 17, Senate Bill 2246 to repeal and reenact 1 CMC subsection 2502 to clarify the rank and file at the Department of Public Safety and for other purposes. Open for discussion. Just for the committee's information, to date, I've only received comments from the Board Municipal Council on this. I don't have any issues with this legislation, but if we would like to hold for further comments.
I have no issue.
You have no issue with this?
Ready?
Great. I recognize the spot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this moment, I'd like to offer a motion to adopt Senate Bill number 22-46 to repeal and reenact 1 CMC subsection 2502 to clarify the rank and file of the Department of Public Safety and for other purposes. I move to adopt in its original form.
Second.
Motion has been offered to adopt Senate Bill 2246 in its original form and has been seconded. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Senate Bill 2246 hereby is adopted in its original form. Last on old business, Senate Bill 2249 to harmonize the statutes of the authority of the Office of the Attorney General with the constitutional requirement for the election of the Attorney General and its independence as a constitutional office within the executive branch. We're not open for discussion.
Mr. Chairman.
Recognize Senator Jglfr.
Some of the Senate members have expressed non-support to this legislation. And also from the public defenders' comments. The public defender has issued a very strong legislation for taking that into consideration. Also, I recommend as the author to file this legislation. This legislation is a request by the Attorney General. And the floor leader can make the proper motion.
I recognize Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and as requested and by the author, the Vice President of the Senate, I hereby offer a motion that we file Senate Bill number 22-49. So
Offer to file Senate Bill 2249 has been offered and seconded. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Senate Bill 2249 is hereby filed in committee and the behest of the author, Senator Jglfr. On to new business. Being that number one has already been moved on and passed in session, we will go to number two, House Bill number 22-2, to amend the Commonwealth Code to authorize civil claims for child sexual abuse to be commenced at any time and for other purposes. Authored by Representative Jglfr and 8 others. Open for discussion.
one.
Yep.
Short recess, Mr. Chairman.
Short recess.
There's two AG comments.
Yeah.
There's two AG comments.
This is the comments.
There's two in April and in July. I only
April is for the house,
For the House,
This is
yeah.
the House bill.
oh, same, but same.
Committee report has AG comments from the bills in the House and comments from UIS and other comments. For the Senate, I believe we only have, we do have,
One.
we have the public defender and the AG.
I don't have the public defender. What was the public defender's position? I don't have the public.
Yeah, I don't have it. We can talk.
And then also the DYS is 792.
And this is going from the Senate side.
I believe.
Oh.
Oh, that's, you see, this one, the H conference has a bunch of bills on it, so
Yeah.
obviously you have it filed in one of the other bills.
Gotcha. Just to make it.
Yeah, that's why
Kind of flow.
it's confusing, yeah. Otherwise I have to make 6 copies of the same comment for 6 different bills.
This, this coming, for the next legislation, recommending to delete section 4. which is
Yeah.
the savings clause.
Yes. And I was gonna mention that once we get back.
So if the committee wants to adopt this legislation, that, the members agree to delete this,
So they recommend deleting section 4, the savings clause.
Because it's gonna have a retroactive effect.
Okay.
And usually laws that we pass, it's for the future prospective, not retro. So if we wanna make it apply retrospectively, we will make the savings.
because it will not be consistent.
So should we make the,
If the savings clause remains, and all will be consistent with the intent of the
so we'll make the amendments and then adopt it and send it back to the House? Okay. What about the public defenders? Was there anything?
Yeah, they took my copy.
Yeah, my apologies. It sounds right. Thank you, Joe.
Sorry. Can you look it up? Just how much for everyone?
House Bill number 2257 in the form of HD1 to provide a tax credit for business entities that hire United States citizens or residents of the CNMI whose employment was affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Authored by Representative Ralph and 2 others. I'd like to recognize Senator Salman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And in reference to the legislation before us, House Bill number 22-57 in the form of HD1. We did meet, just for the record, the chairman and myself did meet the author, Representative Yumo, and we were made aware that the concerns on the comments that were provided were all satisfied on the HD 1 version of the bill. The Representative Yumo did also state that there are other jurisdictions that are following through with similar legislation, and that this would only be for a year, sunset provision is provided for a year. And this is just to the purpose of the bill as articulated by Rep. Yumo this morning was just to provide any employees that have lost their jobs options to be employed with an incentive for the employer, so that we can have provide these people with some buying power, which will in turn stimulate our economy. So he was mentioning that the $2,500 that would be an incentive of a tax credit to the establishments would be less than the effect of economic activity that would be brought forth by these employees um, gaining back their employment. And there is a clause here that they must be employed over 6 months. So with that, I just wanted to say I see no, I have no opposition, or I have no concerns over the legislation.
Mr. Chairman, or
Yeah, recognize Senator Kibwa.
before we start this meeting, on the bill,
Oh, yes, we moved down to number,
will be on the bills about,
sorry, yeah, number 5.
yeah, 5, 26, and 28.
Yes. Short recess for recess.
Just to let you know, the ages
Recognize Senator Jglfr.
Just to meet with the author first.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if we can first have the author of the bill join us during a meeting so that our council can share the AG's opinion and also the comments made from the Secretary of Finance.
So if there's no objections from the members, I would like to ask that we hold this legislation for further discussion so that we can meet with the author and clarify some of the issues provided by the AG's office and the Secretary of Finance. No issues? I would like to go back to number 2 on new business. Now that we have a documentation that they ordered from the Public Defender's Office and the AG's office regarding House Bill 22-2. We can deliberate on the issues and points that were brought up by these departments. Okay, discussion. Recognize Senator Jglfr.
This is how you're taking to this too, right?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I have no objections to this bill. Making amendments to consider AG's recommendation.
Noted. Thank you, Senator Jglfr. I would now like to recognize Senator Jglfr. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So with that, I'd like to offer a motion that we adopt House Bill number 22-2 with the amendments from the AG's office.
An offer has been made to adopt House Bill 22-2 and seconded with the amendments to reflect the concerns of the AGs to strike Section 4 of the Savings Clause. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? House Bill 22-2 is hereby adopted. The last item of business for today, I would like to go to number 5 on new business. House Bill number 22-28 in the form of HD1 to rename the structure for the Center of Living Independently in the CNMI to the Lydia D. Igato Center for Living Independently in the CNMI and for other purposes. Authored by Representative Edmund B. S. Villagomez and 11 others. Open for discussion. Recognize Senator Sabah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this moment, I'd like to offer a motion to adopt in committee House Bill number 22-28, HD1, to rename the structure for the Center for Living Independently in the CNMI to the Lydia D. Igato Center for Living Independently in the CNMI and for other purposes, authored by our Speaker of the House, Representative Edmund Villagomez and others. I hereby move for its adoption. Thank you.
An offer has been made and seconded to adopt House Bill 2228 in the form of HD1 to pass in committee, to adopt in committee. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 2228 in the form of HD1 is hereby adopted. If there's no objections, the chairman would like to table the balance of the legislation for our next committee meeting. I move on to item number 7, miscellaneous communications. Oh, before that, are there any objections? No objections? All right. Short recess. request of the committee member, Vice Senator JQ, I would now like to entertain new business number 15, Senate Bill number 22-50 in the form of HD1 to clarify the NMTI trustee nominating committee provisions by repealing and reenacting 3 CMC subsection 12114A and for other purposes to clarify the NMTI trustee nomination committee provisions by repealing and reenacting 3 CMC subsection 12114A and for other purposes. Discussions? All right. Is Senator recognized Senator Sabat.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And at this time, I'd like to offer a motion to adopt Senate Bill number 22-50 in the form of HD1. So moved.
Motion has been offered and seconded to adopt Senate Bill number 22-50 in the form of HD1. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Senate Bill 22-50 in the form of HD1 is hereby adopted. If there's no other objections from the committee members, I would like to move on to recognize council.
Chairman, I was informed about Senate Bill 2215, that's regarding there was a committee report for it that was done, and at 2 sessions ago, I believe the request was to take it off the calendar and to amend the report.
Okay.
You familiar with that? I believe the clerk has it, but I believe that needs to be approved by the committee, so if you can just give me a second and then we'll try.
Short recess. The chair and has been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? This JGLFR committee meeting is hereby adjourned.
Good job, good job.
Thank you guys for your patience.
The binder is getting skinnier, but it's gonna get fatter again.